Yeah, and I think what happens in some of those circumstances is they don't quite realize taxes are in arrears.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So taxes are really backwards. So you're paying now what was, what was really used before, and so when that property gets reassessed and that bill goes up, there's disclaimers and forms in the contract, and there's forms at closing, and there's forms that you guys have people sign. But I think we all here on the radio show today know that a lot of people don't read everything in those forms. So they'll come back and say, hey, what's going on? Why didn't you, tell me about this? Or I didn't know. Or and I think, from a mortgage lender perspective, if there's someone out there that's a prospective home buyer, one of the things that I would tell you is a mortgage lender is going to do a good faith estimate. It's going to be a pure estimate, ballpark, a rough ballpark on taxes and insurance. They're going to be able to tell you what your mortgage payment's going to be, but you need to drill down and do a little research yourself to know exactly what the taxes and insurance are going to be. Because again, if you go based off of an estimate on a website, that doesn't mean that's what's going to end up being.
Right, and we have a tax estimator on our new website that's very good. It's going to give you a range. It's still an estimate though. We can't give exact amounts because the market, the values change throughout the course of the year.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what the millage is going to end up at the end of the day from the taxing authorities, which is ultimately. And the other thing that people need to realize too in their tax bills is that those bills don't include non-ad valorem. The trim notice doesn't.
Right.
And so then sometimes they'll receive their tax bill, and they'll say, well, wait a minute, there's $200 more than I expected, and then you look at it, they may live in a gated community or something, there's some kind of an additional fee for whatever it may be, a lighting district or something. Those things aren't on their ad valorem or tax.
So sometimes they don't see that and they're not prepared.
Yeah, so
for it.
there's some things out there from time to time that will shock people.
And I think that, so obviously the deadline's coming up in a couple of weeks. If you've bought recently, or even if you've bought a long time ago, it's a good idea to look. One of the things that, the idea, came to me, when you're talking about, the property tax scenario, I think, people get confused about, portability and how it works and how it's in arrears and how it gets assessed. So if you wouldn't mind maybe breaking down the timeline, let's say somebody buys the property now, when roughly is it reassessed and when does that bill kind of kick in? Because I think there's just a lot of confusion. People think, oh, we don't understand the home's worth this much and the assessment's for this much. They don't quite understand the difference in those numbers.
Well, understand that every property in Hillsborough County is reassessed each year as of January 1st, and so there's a difference between this just market or the just market value and the taxable value, and that's in this Save Our Homes cap world that we've been in, and I want to mention also. Non-homesteaded properties too are also capped, and that's an issue that's coming.
10%, I think.
Yeah.
Is it 10%?
And that's something we really need to talk about as well, because there's a bill because that exemption or that 10% cap actually is slated to go away January 1st of 2019.
Really?
Yeah, and so
wow.
So there's a constitutional amendment proposed now in the legislature to try to extend that. But before we get to that, understand that in essence the taxable value of your home and the just or fair market value are two different things. So people really need to look at both those things when they're looking at a piece of property and understand. So basically what happens is you have a cap, and once you buy the home, the cap is set, and then you start accruing space between the fair market value and your taxable value. That's the differential that's portable once you abandon your homestead and take it to and reestablish your homestead elsewhere within the proper amount of time. Where I think that people don't realize is that then once that first tax bill of their own comes about, that taxable value is going to reset to that just or fair market value, and so that's where that differential happens, and then you can port to take the amount that you have to port to reduce that initial taxable value, but sometimes there's still going to be a difference, and that's going to cause your mortgage to go up or your tax bill to go up.
And I think again, there's certainly circumstances, and we've had customers come to us that have disputed the assessment, and we've heard incredible feedback since you've been in office. And congratulations on your election, by the way. I'm sure it's a big relief not to be in campaign season anymore. But one of the things I wanted to commend you on was, really campaigning on the issues, and professionally. Like I thought that you won a lot of support, especially from the realtor community, because you did do a good job in the office. It was controversy-free. You developed a new website. And I think people know that you guys are fair. I mean, anytime that we've had a customer, you know, you're not out to, you know, harm anybody or you know, mess anybody up, you know. So our customers that have had legitimate concerns about an assessment, or maybe where there could be a dispute, you know, the feedback that we've heard is that they've always gotten a fair shake. And I think after our break, you know, maybe we go into that a little bit of, you know, hey, look, let's say you get the assessment, and you read it and you really truly do understand it, and you know it's not related to somebody's old homestead or anything like that, and you have a concern about the value.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I want to get to that after the break. And if you're thinking about selling your home, make sure to check out TampaBayHouseValue.com. Go get a free home value estimate. Anywhere in Tampa Bay, you'll get a monthly market report and market snapshot sent directly to your email. And again, the website is TampaBayHouseValue.com. We'll be back after a quick break with Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser, Mike Yates from Atlantic Bay Mortgage, and Al Noto from the Hillsborough County Property Appraiser's office as well.